I think when we make machines that have these multiple levels of organization, we'll find that if the machine if we manage to make it have the same sort of structure that the human brain has, we don't know enough about that yet to do it, that it will report the same sorts of things. And when it says, I see blue, we'll be able to see all the processes that this involve. And we'll also see that it doesn't involve much understanding of what that process is, and so it seems very mysterious and unphysical. If you don't know how it works, like when Houdini or Penn and Teller make an elephant disappear, then you say, this is not physical, it's impossible. When you know how the magic trick works, then the sense of wonder goes away, although you might still remember how it puzzled you once.
So the fundamental question again is, when we analyze all these pieces of consciousness, is there anything left over that allows us to go beyond the physical world?
Well, the physical world is everything we know. And if somebody believes that there's another world that we can't see or measure, they're entitled to their opinion. But I think the more you develop that idea, the more cubic centimeters of your brain you're wasting with questions that don't make any sense and can't be answered. If there's another universe with a thinking machine and it has invisible wires connected to your brain that change how you behave, then we want to build new instruments to find it.
Well, the argument says that consciousness is so unique because of this first-person experience that it cannot be explained no matter how you look at the brain in terms of its neuronal level or the systems level, or however you want to explain it. There's always going to be something left over, and that which is left over is this first-person experience.
Well, I think the first-person experience comes when maybe you're 3 or 4 months old, or 6 months or 9 months, whatever it is, when you notice that there are other people who do some of the same things you do, but I can move my hand and I can't move your hand. And at some point the baby recognizes there's a big difference, and it makes a concept of the self, which is my body, and a little later my mind, and that's what they call the identity and the self. And no matter how old you get, unless you've made a lot of new psychological theories and so forth, you're stuck with that one, and it seems very permanent and immediate and unchangeable because it's all you've got. When you were a baby, there was this few little lumps of cells that say, that's me, and you never grow up.
So you don't need anything more other than what we have in our craniums to explain consciousness.
Well, I'd hate to feel that there's some other world. And I mean, I worked very hard to become a good scientist, and I studied mathematics for many years and finally proved some theorems no one else did. And I felt this was a great thing. It was wonderful, and it was hard work. Now, if somebody comes along and says, there's a little oyster in the universe and you're the pearl, and some creator gave you this ability, well, that's very demeaning. I don't want to be dissed by saying my virtues come from a soul. I worked hard, and our whole culture worked very hard to get its ideas. I didn't invent calculus. Archimedes made a big step, and then there were 2,000 years of nonsense, and then along came Galileo and Newton, and finally he got calculus and Leibniz into workable form. So the idea of a soul seems to me very demeaning. It's saying nothing we do has any consequences. There's someone else just dropping these little gifts on us. It's a terrible idea. What would happen if you believed it? You wouldn't do anything.